Hey guys, first regardsman here, and I'll be talking about Space Marine 2's weekly hard strat number 29 and patch 12.2 with the brand new hotfix. Now, this week is definitely easier than last week, though I will say it's a bit more annoying. We are on the map Exfiltration with the battlefield conditions beset, both enemy factions spawn, come prepared, no Medicae stims are available, but every squad member starts the mission with 10 stims, posthumous proliferation, slain enemies spawn spores or chaos skulls depending on the faction, and corrupted relic. A random player receives the cursed relic. While holding it, enemies prioritize attacking the holder, and the holder's damage dealt is reduced by 25%. Hold the relic to avoid mission failure. Now, corrupted relic means you will just lose if you die with the relic pretty much, at least in solo. Now, I did use solo with bots for this mission, mainly because it prevents the randomization of the cursed relic. If you play solo with bots, corrupted relic will automatically go to you no matter what. I just built around that with like my whole build, so that was kind of like my plan for this. Now, if you're playing with randoms, this one can be incredibly annoying. Corrupted Relic is a pretty toxic mechanic without a coordinated team, and Beset really isn't too bad here, and Come Prepared is really nice for like survivability, because 10 stims per teammate is like 30 stims total, and that is way more than you would usually find throughout a mission. But just keep in mind that the Spore Mines, the Chaos Skulls, and a bunch of ranged fire from both Tyranids and Chaos can make this significantly harder. Now, the build I used to deal with this was the Bulwark Shield Bash with Intimidating Aura, and mainly because Intimidating Aura will just mop up the Trigon all on its own. Also, Bulwark is just tremendously tanky with things like Steel Within for damage reduction on top of Focus Restoration, and I was playing by myself, so being able to be that super tanky guy on top of incredible damage, which is really good for me on this build. So I used the block power axe here. We built all melee damage. I do think this is like the best way to set up the power axe if you're going for melee damage on a block variant, because you just get things like Riposte, you get things like Cleaver for 10% buffs against Majoris and like higher enemies and stuff like that, and you get full power backstep damage and like full wave angles with power wave and tactical retreat. Now, Perpetual Strength up here also gives you a 5% damage buff, and even though we did have a 25% damage reduction the entire time off Corrupted Relic, being able to shield mash and get free damage off of things like Intimidating Aura really helped out anyways, and also perks like Defensive Mastery that one-shot Extremis and Majoris on a 90-second cooldown. These don't really care if your overall damage dealt is lowered, so really good perk options here, and Concussive Force is still a very strong perk just to deal free damage on your shield bash, and even with the 25% damage reduction, you still deal substantial damage on Concussive Force with the shield bash. Now, if you don't want to use this because it is harder for you, you could take Invigorating Icon. I know not everybody knows how to animation cancel properly on the Bulwark class, so this one can be a bit more difficult for them. So if you want to pick this one up, you can definitely do that. As far as the perk setup goes, I would pretty much set it up like this all the time, because I do think this is the overall best for Bulwark here. Now, as far as our prestige perk options go, I take Resilience because we have 10 stims and 40% more HP per stim is pretty damn powerful. Overcharge for more charge attack damage, Powerful Shot for more range damage, and Masterful Defense for ability charge being restored by 1% for every blocked range attack. And that's pretty much all I did for this build. You know, for the secondary, you could even take like a Neo Volkite. You have so many damn stims that topping off your HP is really not too hard, even without like CHP recovery on your secondary. Personally, I took a ammo reserve variant of the heavy bolt pistol because fighting a Neurothrope or a Zoanthrope without this thing does just kind of suck. So that's why I took this today and built it this way, or you go up here for like discipline and stuff like that. But Neo Volkite built like this on either variant is also quite good, and Plasma Pistol on the rate of fire built like this is always a strong option. And that's pretty much all there is for the Bulwark build here. Now, another class I'd pretty much bring to any team comp if I am not the one holding the Relic is, of course, the Tactical. Or like, even if you are holding the Relic, Tactical is still a good option. As long as you're in a coordinated group, Tactical is like the ultimate enabler for your entire team. Auspex Scan is probably the best class ability in all Space Marine 2 currently, and mainly because with the proper perk setup, it functions as like a 300% damage boost for your entire team, which is nuts. Precise Calibration and Concentrated Fire, these two perks together give you an additional 195% damage on top of your base Auspex damage, so a crazy damage buff there. And being able to do that to a boss, bosses are usually the big killer in hard strats, absolute, and siege mode, so it really doesn't matter what game mode you're playing, having an Auspex scan makes your life 10 times easier, so being able to bring this pretty casually is very strong for you. Now, I'd also pick up things like Radiating Impact, Secure Stockpile for 60-second cooldowns on grenades, And of course, Plasma Boost for our Plasma secondary here, because we do just build Pyroblast and Plasma and Argent Edge. Argent Edge is like the safest fencing weapon in the game currently, because it will interrupt any enemy attack on the first parry no matter what. That means a triple Ravener hit, a triple melee Terminator hit, and stuff like that, they will be stopped immediately. Plasma Pistol is great for CHP recovery, and Pyroblaster just cooks everything on any faction. And there are a ton of Chaos Spawn and Tyranids on this mission. Now for the perk setups on these weapons, I would take Pyroblaster like this. I would also take the Ammo Reserve option or the Venting Speed, depending on what you want. And I would always pick up things like Emperor's Vengeance when you take that weapon, because otherwise you will probably run out. And Exfiltration is also a map where the first desert portion, it usually doesn't give you an ammo box unless your entire team is very low, like right off the bat. So having this perk will help you out tremendously. Now, the secondary option here is, of course, the Rate of Fire Plasma, because Rate of Fire just means you get your CHP recovery off faster. And for the perk tree, I would set up this way, just like the Bulwark class. And for Argent Edge, you can set it up however you want. I just have it set up like this, though to be honest, going down the top tree can be a little bit better for you. And if you're a little curious about the heroic perk effect here, Scathing Retort, the riposte window is shorter, but each riposte deals damage. All this is talking about is your perfect parry window, and your perfect parries will deal damage to the enemy, on top of the fact that your parry window feels far more like a block weapon. That's like really the only downside of this weapon in general, but still a very strong defensive option. So just want to make sure you are aware of that. And that's pretty much all there is for the tactical here. Now, I want to say before I get into some actual gameplay of this operation that you can take whatever class you want here. You could take Vanguard, Tech Marine, Heavy Sniper. The big thing here is that you really don't need the healing perks like Unmasked Heal as much on this one or Adrenaline Rush, mainly because you already have 10 stims for every teammate. And the other big issue is if you are a Tactical or Tech Marine and you do wind up getting the Cursed Relic, the enemies will prioritize you while you have the Cursed Relic active. And because of that, your damage will be lost, on top of the fact you're one of the squishiest classes in the entire game with these two. So dying instantaneously to like an unfortunate Devourer or something like that is going to feel pretty bad even with 10 stims. So I would probably take this into like solo with a Bulwark. I know suggesting solo is kind of lame, but I think it's probably the easiest to do if you don't have a coordinated team. But if you are stuck with randoms, just be careful that if you are the one with the Relic, or like you have some guy that's with the Relic and they're playing Tech Marine or Tactical, they might just explode. And like, it's going to be a pretty frustrating experience for a lot of players. But hopefully, talking about Bulwark and Tactical gave you a bit of an idea of how you want to actually approach this. And as far as my final thoughts on this are concerned, the stratagem modifier here, like Come Prepared, makes things pretty easy. Beset does not mean you're going to be finding things like Zangors popping out of the exfiltration, like holes from the Trigon and stuff like that. The Trigon holes are like guaranteed to be Hormigons, so just keep that in mind. And the slain enemies spawning Spore Mines or Chaos Skulls, just be very aware of that, because that can nuke your HP. And like I said before, things like Tech Marine and Tactical, that can be the end of your life in like 2 seconds. So just be very careful with that. And hopefully this guide helped you. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching. If you like content like this, subscribe for more. And here's some gameplay of the operation. Take it easy. Bye.
Walk against the bottom. This infestation has persisted for too long. A lift station lies just ahead, Meridian. Considering the
I'm just in the elevator running.
incidental to our objective, utilize the lift to reroute closer to Metrian's keep.
Could make life a bit easier.
I have transmitted no authorizations. Perhaps we can disrupt the beast if we reposition frequently. Transport left status. Begins, ceases. Move until the lift arrives. Lift has arrived. Get in, brothers. Hurry. Behold the abyss of the mind devoid of temperance.
Igno-Elmetrian welcomes you to Longinus Gamma Bio Research Facility. Please do not disturb the lift. It would be a waste. I have no music to play while you descend. Use the silence to contemplate your futile, brutal existence in service to a desiccated cause.
Something is amiss with this servo skull. Viridian, the servo skull is enslaved to an unknown master. I am...
Continue to discuss your fate amongst yourselves. It changes nothing.
This is why I do not trust Temptrists.
A suggestion: abandon Gallio's misguided vendetta against the Lagos biologists. Do you know what Gallio and Metrian achieved together in the past? Ask about Project Zeta-6 if you ever speak to him again.
Let Magos Gallio do the wing servo skull.
The defensive mastery trigger. I'm pretty sure I took Intimidating Aura, or I took Forward Momentum in the build guide, and I took Intimidating Aura in the actual game here, but I think Forward Momentum is probably better here, actually, for Shield Bash. Yeah, those 4 mines are obnoxious. Oh yeah, look at all that no damage we're doing. Beautiful. %25 damage reduction on a bolt pistol, not the best, not the best. Especially since we already don't do a ton of damage to this guy, but when he lands, we just hopefully be able to do a little bit more. Raveners aren't deciding to go for us though, which is nice. There.
Execution, decapitation, would you like to hear more?
That rain stopping shit there. Oh, let's do this. That works. Alright, that's probably the quote-unquote hardest part there. I have enough ammo for this guy, though? Question. I should.
I was worried You had fallen victim to Metrian's mastery of malphonic disruptive frequencies, but now the uncomfortable sensation associated with relief cools my remaining skin. Be warned, Viridian. Metrian cannot hope to stand against you alone, so she will lie and stall in hope the Xenos swarm will devour you. Case in point, she has enslaved that servo skull as accrued memories. But give her one status. The facility is well stocked in mining gear. Requisition melter charges to eradicate the tunnels and halt the infestation. Find the melter ordnance with dispatch. Cleanse those Xenos passages. Another 2 minutes thwarted.
Can't really put these ones as far apart as possible. Well, not quite, but pretty close. Pretty close as far apart as possible.
Melter charge in hand, brothers. Passage may collapse. Move, brothers. Here's a facility.
I really use this sim just in case, because if we die for any reason, I mean, we have 10 or 8 now, but if we die for any reason or go down at all, it is instant death, so might as well top off. I hate about playing bots, it take forever to get in here.
Inside the facility, you'll find Metrian cowering in a data entry.
Old friend of mine. If you
Ow.
missed our binaric discourse,
That's just being artillery by devourers, okay.
I observe you still pathetically cling to thews of soft tissue. Remember, meat lacks efficiency, whereas metallic alloys stave off corrosion and degradation for far longer.
Oh, let's go.
How far you have fallen, Noel.
My bots can follow me, it's the real question, I doubt it.
Back into the light.
Advance as one!
Behold the truth of my faults. I am but a humble brain, patched into a mining facility, and nothing more. What reason exists to pull me from recording biomass coalescence data firsthand? I pose no threat to Galio or the Imperium, even if I should fall.
Disconnect her synaptic tethers from the facility command terminals. Stand firm. I expect her to route Xenos to assault your locus. Dig in and defend! I am within the field.
The fuck? Oh, he just threw a grenade? No, I guess he's looking at them through the walls. AI in action.
This console's connection is shut down.
Right.
The console zone is empty. Dig in and defend. Darkness is a pathetic trick thwarted by a power cell.
It's gonna be in placement.
This power cell has some charge. That generator is short a working power cell.
I beseech you, Galio, bear witness to the summation of our divine arithmetic from long ago. Remember Project Zeta 6.
As As my theorems predicted, your life vector has converged with renegade factors, and Zeta 6 was a waste of computational resources and one perfectly good Grox. Surrender now, and perhaps leniency can be granted. After the mind grows, of course.
You are a redundant functionary. Your Astarte shall die here, alone, in the dark.
Return to Metrian's containment unit.
Futile input waste of gene seed.
The more you trash,
The only hope against the hive mind the Imperium has left.
Thoughts of Astarte's flesh have accomplished nothing, Galio. My machinations are already achieving my designs.
I hold the text me the spring, and I'm resisting the silence. Smash it. Viridian, pilot. Viridian is ready for evacuation. Sending updated extraction coordinates to you now, Viridian.
Sangor down! We stand upon the cusp of glory! Locus marked. Be ready!
What the fuck? Man, they really do target you, huh? That Biovore barreled past everybody just for me. Kill him. I got 25% damage reduction here, but surely I can bully him in the corner. Yep. Alright, we're just gonna go to the boss stand here. I don't much care to fight off like a whole horde. And we'll just top off again, because why not? 10 stims is like usually more than you find per mission for your whole team, so getting 10 per player, pretty easy. Now, the relic definitely makes it harder. On account of you instantaneously losing the mission, pretty much.
Destroy that monstrosity! Precisely what I require. Replenishing. Stay close and sharp.
I cannot land without borrowing a pollination lighting about. Deep scans have penetrated the atmospheric disturbances and Metrium's meddling code. Trigon vulnerability data.
Look at all that zero damage we're doing.
Grant this monstrosity no quarter.
Awesome.
Now coping has weak spots. Shoot them.
Now, the relic said it's supposed to prioritize me, but the boss won't, apparently. Really wants my Buzz Lightyear deck ring. Ow.
To get the Provenance.
And that is the weekly. Bulwark definitely makes that pretty easy. Especially with like intimidating aura and just shield bashing. Flygon gets mopped by that pretty easily. I'll say the relic damage reduction is pretty annoying, or I should say the damage dealt reduction. Pretty fucking obnoxious, but mainly because we're by ourselves.